Good afternoon. We're here at our Airbnb in Centro, Curitiba, and the building's called Central Station. Nice building, very nice for the area. Good amenities, nice people. So it's kind of a mix of apartments and Airbnbs. So then looking to do a walk to the center and through the center for a couple weeks now, and just hadn't had the time or taken the time to do that. So we'll head off to the center, and it's lunchtime. It's Wednesday. It's a little afternoon. So typically lunch is here. The restaurants are open from 11 to 2 on average, 11 to 2:30. Most people have lunch in that time frame. Most of them around noon, or an hour to an hour and a half. So you get a pretty good lunch break here. And some people even have vouchers for lunch out at restaurants from their work. So a few different things. And of course, the work days are typically a little longer, and you throw in an hour lunch. So you can see that it's pretty busy. And say we're close to Shopping Estação and Rua 7 de Setembro, which is kind of one of the main streets going through the city, main corridors. And I'm heading away from that towards the Centro area. We did a video of the big buses here towards the center, the antique center, Centro Antigo, and they have a market there on Sundays. And so we went to that, and we've been into the center a couple of times. It can get a little crazy, and like you said, we gotta be a little careful here because there's some snatch and grab people around here. Not a lot, but my wife was warned about wearing jewelry in the center area. You get into some of the other neighborhoods, the Batel, Agua Verde, Verdigui. A little bit different story as far as the security. You get a big mix of people down here, so you can see it's busy. The shops, it's hot today, probably 28 degrees. There's certain areas of the city that are pretty green. There's lots of parks. During the day, they're okay. In this area at 10 o'clock at night, I probably wouldn't be walking through too many of the parks. And you do see quite a few more homeless and drug addict people here in the center than you do in some of the other areas. People out on their lunch breaks. You notice an awful lot of people smoking here, which you don't see in a lot of other places. I don't know if it's because there's more money here and they can afford the cigarettes, or if it's just the stress and the thing to do in this city. I'd say a lot of the dress is dark, a lot of blacks, a lot of tattoos, a lot of dark grays, dark blues as far as what people are wearing. So I gotta start using a little bit of caution here. Pay attention to who's looking at me and if anybody's following me. I do heed some of the local warnings. Yeah, you should. So I talked a little bit about Bluma now and the shops and the movement, and this is just it on a much bigger scale. So there are some elevation changes here in town. We're actually going uphill right now. Not much. When you get to the center, it's up on the top. The historic center, the Centro Antiguo. We're coming up on a area that's closed to cars, and we'll head down that and see what's going on for lunch. So you can see here that this is a area that's all pedestrians. Goes in both directions. And shops and restaurants, and you find little holes in the wall, really good restaurants and really cheap restaurants, but sometimes they're just tucked in a corner. Guys singing a little music there. You can see some Harleys.
Só no tijolo.
Again, shopping. Yeah, I'd say one of the other videos on Sundays, they shut some of these down, and some other streets on the side, they shut them down, do music and things for kids, which is fantastic. You know, bike riding and lessons, and just little fair areas for kids. You see some old buildings, some new buildings. Restaurant, self-service, $22.99, 23 reais for lunch. That is $4, a little under $4 for lunch. In the streets. Like I say, people out for lunch, walk around, take their break, do some eating, do some shopping, do some sitting, meet your friends. Big line at McDonald's. So, here at one end of the little walking area is a park, another green space. Like I say, another green space, and again during the day it's a nice place to hang out and just kind of relax from the craziness of the city. Another restaurant there, some service, ice cream. And we'll go through the park and see who's there. The parks also have lots of little kiosks around them for lunches and pastels and galducanas, and there's some pipoca, popcorn. A lot of people are, they're encouraging people to come here. As we see a lot of help wanted signs. So there's work here, but cost of living is quite high. We noticed that even between Curitiba and Blumenau, there's a price difference on everything. It's more expensive here in Curitiba. From a total person standpoint, but from the U.S. it's not that huge of a difference. A couple dollars here and there for lunch and stuff. But you live here, lunch dinner is going to average probably 10 reais more per person. Oh, nice space here. Do you feel relaxed? Me, I'm not really a city person, and some of this is a little too much for me. We had a reason for coming here, and to look around and some other things. But cities really are not my thing. Big cities, like I say, Blumenau is always like that. So that's kind of the end of the park. It does go on farther, but you can see the traffic opens up on the street that way. And again, just a bunch of different places to color the kana and snacks and lunches. Right over there is Ben Cafe. I had a great little breakfast and coffee there a few days ago. It was great. I would recommend if you're here. Right on there, a nice calm space inside. people were very, very nice and very friendly. You see there's little cafes people meet at and have lunch. And one thing you do smell everywhere here is because of the sewer systems and stuff like that. And of course, in the parks, you have all the homeless people peeing everywhere. So the parks do smell like urine quite often, some areas. And then people waiting to get in there. And then of course, the sewer systems aren't the greatest. So you do smell sewer quite a bit, quite a few places. And even in some of the new buildings, because the standards they don't use any international plumbing standards or anything like that. So the wind's blowing outside, sometimes you smell sewer in your apartment or in your bathroom or kitchen. And walking out on the streets, you walk through some areas, it's pretty strong. But I guess that's just part of living in a country like this. Another walking street there. Again, just people out. Like I say, lots of movement, lots of people. It'll calm down a little bit after lunchtime. And then again, towards the end of the day, 5 and 4, between 4 and 6, it gets really crazy. Buses are full, people moving here and there, and going home, going out. And tell me what you think. Out of a lot of the cities, again, you compare this to, it's certainly not the size of São Paulo or Rio, but most of the areas we've been in Curitiba, I've felt fine and safe. There's some areas in Rio, and I haven't been to São Paulo yet. Actually, it's not even on my list to go visit at this point. Again, big cities, just don't do anything for me. Oh, back to the line at McDonald's.
E o top jeans?
So, one of the things my wife taught me is when you see, if you think somebody's eyeballing you, you change direction, change course, duck into a store, and just change it up and see if they're going to follow you or continue. Just to keep them guessing. If they have any bad intentions, you can kind of catch them in that mode. But, by and large, everybody here has, my Portuguese is garbage. But by and large,